Welcome to Rare Breed Brotherhood. Have you ever felt like you don't quite fit into the mold society tries to force on you? Like no matter how hard people push, you just can't be boxed in? That's the essence of a Sigma male, a man who charts his own path, lives life on his terms, and refuses to play by society's rules. It's not arrogance, it's freedom. But here's the twist. This independence comes at a cost. Society doesn't know how to handle those who refuse to conform, and what it can't control, it often hates. Sigma males are misunderstood, criticized, and even resented. Not because they're doing something wrong, but because they challenge the norm. They expose weaknesses, disrupt power structures, and make people question their own choices. And that, my friend, makes them a target. In this video, we'll dive deep into the 10 shocking reasons why society struggles with Sigma males. If you've ever felt like the world doesn't understand you, this is a must-watch. Let's unpack the truth together. Number 1, they unmask hypocrisy. Sigma males have a way of seeing through the surface of things that most people either can't or won't acknowledge. They're not easily swayed by what's popular, socially accepted, or convenient. Instead, they rely on their ability to observe and think critically. This often leads them to uncover the hypocrisy that lies hidden in everyday life. The double standards people ignore, the contradictions in the rules we follow, and the shallow thinking that society often rewards. They don't do this to seek attention or stir conflict. It's simply how their minds work. They're wired to question, analyze, and understand. But exposing hypocrisy has consequences. When Sigma males point out the flaws in societal norms, they inadvertently challenge the comfort zones of those who benefit from these systems. Many people would rather cling to the illusion than confront the truth. The Sigma's honesty, while refreshing to some, is threatening to others. It forces them to face uncomfortable realities about themselves, their beliefs, or their actions, realities they'd rather keep buried. What makes Sigma males even more unsettling is that they don't sugarcoat their observations or try to soften the blow. They deliver the truth as they see it without dressing it up or holding back. This kind of intellectual honesty is rare, and not everyone can handle it. To those deeply invested in maintaining a facade, the Sigma male becomes an unwelcome presence, a walking reminder that their carefully constructed house of cards could come tumbling down at any moment. This ability to unmask hypocrisy isn't something Sigma males brag about or wield like a weapon. It's simply part of who they are. And while it earns them respect from some, it also makes them a target for resentment from those who feel exposed or outmatched by their clarity. Number 2. They are a mirror for society's flaws. The mere presence of a Sigma male is like holding up a mirror to society, forcing people to confront uncomfortable truths about themselves. Unlike most who blend into the norms and patterns of collective behavior, Sigma males operate with a level of independence, discipline, and authenticity that is rare and often intimidating. When people encounter them, they can't help but see what they lack, even if they don't want to admit it. For someone who relies on the approval of others or conforms to societal expectations to feel validated, a Sigma male's self-sufficiency can highlight their own dependence on external sources of affirmation. This reflection can be deeply unsettling. It reveals the cracks in the carefully constructed facades people have built to hide their insecurities or avoid confronting their own weaknesses. It exposes their unwillingness to take responsibility for their own lives and challenges their attachment to comfort, approval, and conformity. The Sigma male doesn't need these things to thrive, which forces others to ask why they do and why they are so dependent on them. For many, this mirror is a source of deep discomfort. The natural response to such a reflection is often envy or hostility. The Sigma male's refusal to conform, his ability to stand alone and excel without the usual crutches of social validation, becomes something others either envy or resent. It's easier to project hostility onto someone who makes you uncomfortable than to face the unsettling truth of your own dependence. But this hostility isn't really about the Sigma male himself. It's about the reflection he casts. The real issue isn't him, it's the realization that society's flaws have been laid bare, and not everyone is willing to do the work to fix them. And number 3, they reject groupthink. Sigma males have a rare quality that makes them stand out in a crowd. They refuse to sacrifice their individuality to fit into collective thinking. Groupthink, where people go along with popular opinions to avoid conflict or gain acceptance, holds no appeal for them. Instead, they prioritize their principles, logic, and personal belief, even when it means standing alone. This courage to dissent or question what everyone else seems to agree on is admirable, but it also paints a target on their backs. In group-driven environments, where conformity often equals harmony, the Sigma male's resistance to going with the flow can feel disruptive. People who are heavily invested in maintaining group cohesion may see their dissent as defiance or even a threat. Sigma males don't disagree just for the sake of being different. They do it because they genuinely see flaws in the consensus or believe there's a better way. But in a world where approval is often more important than authenticity, this kind of honesty is rarely celebrated. Their unwillingness to conform makes them an easy scapegoat when things go wrong. If a group decision fails, the person who dared to disagree often becomes the one blamed for not being a team player. Yet Sigma males remain unfazed by this backlash. They understand the price of authenticity and are willing to pay it. What unsettles people most is that Sigma males don't crave approval or validation from the group. They don't care about being liked, they care about being right, or at least true to themselves. This independence challenges the unspoken rule that social acceptance is the ultimate goal, and it forces others to confront their own dependence on groupthink. That confrontation often breeds resentment, making the Sigma male both respected and resented at the same time. Number 4, their success feels undeserved to others. When Sigma males succeed, it's not because they played by the rules society laid out, it's because they created their own. They don't waste time pandering to authority, chasing validation, or navigating office politics. Instead, they focus on honing their skills, staying disciplined, and approaching problems with fresh, innovative thinking. This sets them apart in a world where climbing the ladder is often less about merit and more about connections, appearances, and knowing who to impress. And that's precisely why their success feels undeserved to so many. For people who've been conditioned to believe that success only comes through playing the game, the Sigma male's path looks like a shortcut, but it's not. It's the result of relentless self-mastery and a refusal to conform to inefficiency. They don't waste energy on superficialities or trying to fit into a system that doesn't suit them. They invest it all in their craft, their ideas, and their goals. The problem is, this approach exposes how much unnecessary effort others put into things that don't actually matter. Those who've spent years climbing through traditional hierarchies often feel frustrated or even bitter when they see a Sigma male bypassing the hoops they jumped through. It forces them to question whether they wasted their time and energy on a system that never really rewarded true talent or originality. This realization can feel deeply unsettling, and rather than admit they might have been wrong, many project their frustration onto the Sigma male, branding him as lucky or undeserving. But Sigma males aren't concerned with whether others think they've earned their success. Their focus remains on their purpose, and that quiet confidence only deepens the resentment of those who wish they could say the same. Number 5, they are unpredictable. There's something unsettling about people who don't fit into neat categories, and Sigma males are a prime example of this. They operate outside the usual scripts society expects everyone to follow. They're not bound by trends, traditions, or the need to impress anyone, which makes them incredibly unpredictable. This unpredictability can feel threatening to those who prefer order, labels, and knowing what to expect from others. Most people take comfort in being able to figure someone out, to know what drives them, what they're after, and where they stand. With Sigma males, that comfort doesn't exist. Sigma males don't broadcast their intentions or explain themselves. They might dive deeply into something one moment and walk away from it the next, leaving people confused and curious. They're equally likely to succeed quietly, as they are to withdraw when the world expects them to push forward. This refusal to adhere to a fixed pattern makes them hard to read, and for a society that thrives on predictability, that's a challenge. What really unsettles people is that this unpredictability isn't chaotic, it's deliberate. Sigma males are incredibly intentional in their actions, even if it's hard to see from the outside. They don't feel the need to over-explain, justify, or conform. This sense of autonomy, paired with their ability to shift gears without warning, makes them impossible to pin down. People are wired to categorize others, to understand them in a way that provides a sense of control or advantage, but with Sigma males, this instinct fails. The more society tries to define them, the more they defy definition. This leaves others feeling off balance, unsure of how to respond, and often deeply uncomfortable with their own inability to understand what makes the Sigma male tick. Number 6, they are impossible to manipulate. Sigma males are a nightmare for anyone who thrives on manipulation. They have an uncanny ability to see through tactics designed to control or exploit them, whether it's an emotional plea, subtle guilt tripping, or outright social pressure. Manipulation works best on those who seek approval, fear rejection, or feel compelled to fit into a specific mold. Sigma males, however, operate outside these constraints, making them nearly impossible to sway. Their mental fortitude is built on a foundation of self-awareness and emotional independence. They don't make decisions based on fleeting emotions or societal expectations. They think critically, evaluate situations objectively, and trust their instincts. This clarity of thought leaves little room for manipulators to find leverage. Whether someone tries to flatter them, shame them, or use group dynamics to corner them, the Sigma male remains unshaken, calmly stepping back to assess the situation for what it truly is. This resistance frustrates manipulators to no end. Manipulation relies on creating doubt or dependency, and Sigma males embody the opposite. They are secure in their choices and unafraid of standing alone if that's what's required. They don't fall for the fear of missing out trap, nor do they let guilt or pressure cloud their judgment. Their ability to detach emotionally from situations where others might feel cornered only adds to the frustration of those trying to control them. What makes Sigma males even more challenging for manipulators is their calm demeanor. They don't react impulsively or let their emotions betray them, leaving manipulators with no openings to exploit. This level of independence and self-control not only shields them from being manipulated, but also forces others to confront their own lack of power over them. And for those who thrive on control, this is a deeply unsettling realization. Number 7, they don't compete for attention. In a world where attention often feels like currency, Sigma males stand apart by refusing to compete for it. They don't chase recognition, applause, or approval, nor do they need the validation that comes from being the center of attention. This lack of interest in the spotlight often confuses and frustrates those who thrive on visibility. To many, the Sigma male's quiet confidence can come across as aloofness, indifference, or even arrogance. But that's far from the truth. What people don't realize is that Sigma males simply don't derive their self-worth from external acknowledgement. They're not driven by the need to be seen or heard to feel valuable. Instead, they focus on substance over appearance, prioritizing personal growth, meaningful work, and private fulfillment over public recognition. This mindset creates a stark contrast in environments where success is measured by likes, followers, or applause. The Sigma male's indifference to these metrics unsettles those who've built their lives around them. To make matters worse for attention seekers, the Sigma male's quiet approach often garners organic respect and admiration. Without trying, they command a level of intrigue and authenticity that those desperate for the spotlight rarely achieve. This unintended effect can spark resentment as it highlights the emptiness of performative attention seeking and the quiet strength of being self-assured. The resentment deepens because Sigma males, unlike attention seekers, don't need an audience to validate their actions. They'll accomplish their goals, pursue their passions, and live their lives whether anyone notices or not. This kind of independence threatens those who equate visibility with worth, forcing them to confront an uncomfortable truth. The race for attention is often a hollow pursuit, and the Sigma male, by refusing to run that race, exposes it for what it is. Number 8, their independence undermines control. Sigma males are a direct challenge to the systems that thrive on conformity and control. Their ability to think and act independently undermines the power structures that rely on people adhering to rules, norms, and expectations. In a society where most people are conditioned to follow the script, whether it's for personal success or social acceptance, the Sigma male rejects that entirely. He doesn't seek validation from anyone, nor does he conform to any set standard of behavior. This makes him a wild card, a force that can't be predicted, controlled, or manipulated. For those who rely on the predictable nature of conformity to maintain power, the Sigma male's independence is a threat. They can't use guilt, peer pressure, or social influence to bend him to their will because he's immune to those tactics. He doesn't care about fitting in or gaining favor. His actions are driven by his own standards, not the expectations of others. This autonomy is unsettling because it breaks the illusion of control that many cling to. The more powerful or influential people are in society, the more they want to ensure everyone stays within the lines of acceptable behavior. They rely on manipulation, whether through subtle social pressures or overt authority, to maintain their power. Sigma males, however, don't play that game. They have no need to conform, no need to belong to any group, and no need to gain anyone's approval. This level of independence exposes the fragility of systems built on control, making them uncomfortable in its presence. The Sigma male doesn't just refuse to follow the rules, he exposes the weaknesses in the very framework others depend on. And for those who thrive on maintaining control, that's something they can't tolerate. Number 9, they don't crave validation. Most people are conditioned to seek approval in some form. Whether it's through likes, compliments, or recognition, validation is often the currency that makes people feel seen, relevant, or worthy. It's a tool many use to gauge their value, shape their decisions, or even manipulate situations to their advantage. But Sigma males are a different breed. They don't crave validation because they don't need external recognition to define their worth. Their self-worth comes from within, from their own standards, principles, and understanding of who they are. This lack of neediness is unsettling to those who are used to leveraging approval as a tool of influence. In a world built on social exchange where validation can open doors, spark relationships, or create power dynamics, the Sigma male simply doesn't play by those rules. He doesn't care if he's seen as cool, popular, or accepted. He doesn't measure his success by the applause or approval of others. His actions are driven by his internal compass, and that's what makes him so difficult to manipulate. For those who rely on validation to get what they want, the Sigma male's indifference is a threat. They can't use praise or criticism to sway his behavior because he's not moved by either. This lack of emotional dependency on others' opinions exposes a vulnerability in the systems that revolve around external approval. It creates discomfort in a society where so many people are seeking something to affirm their worth. In a way, the Sigma male forces others to confront their own need for validation, something many aren't prepared to face. Number 10, their self-reliance is intimidating. Self-reliance is a quality many admire in theory but struggle to handle in practice, and Sigma males embody this trait in a way that can be deeply unsettling to others. They don't lean on teams, social circles, or external validation to define their worth or navigate life. Instead, they trust their own instincts, skills, and judgment. While this independence is a strength, it also makes people uncomfortable, especially those who rely heavily on collective systems for survival, success, or even a sense of identity. In a world that often celebrates teamwork and groupthink, Sigma males operate as lone wolves, thriving in solitude and making decisions without seeking approval. This isn't to say they can't work with others. They can and will when necessary. But the key difference is that they don't need others to function or succeed. Their ability to handle challenges on their own without leaning on anyone else often highlights the dependence others have on external structures. For some, this is inspiring. For others, it's intimidating. Their self-reliance also removes the leverage people often use to exert control or influence. Sigma males can't be pressured by fear of losing social standing, group acceptance, or external support because those things don't define them. This autonomy creates an unspoken power dynamic that can make others feel powerless or exposed. What's even more unsettling is how calm and confident Sigma males remain in their independence. They don't need to broadcast their strength. It's evident in their actions. For those who've built their lives around collective systems, this level of self-sufficiency can feel like a mirror, reflecting their own insecurities and lack of autonomy. And rather than confront that discomfort, many project their unease onto the Sigma male, viewing his self-reliance as arrogance or a threat. In the end, the reasons why Sigma males are hated by society have little to do with who they are, but rather with what they reveal about the world around them. They don't conform to the norms that most people are comfortable with, and that shakes up the status quo. They operate without the crutches of approval, validation, or belonging. They don't play the game, and they don't need others to define their worth. This type of independence, mental strength, and refusal to bow to societal pressures is a direct challenge to the systems that thrive on conformity and control. Sigma males force people to confront uncomfortable truths about their own dependence on external factors for happiness and success. They expose the emptiness of status chasing, validation seeking, and the constant need for approval, and that's why they're hated. Because in a world that is obsessed with fitting in and getting ahead through external means, the Sigma male shows that real power comes from within. They don't need to prove themselves to anyone. They don't need to follow trends, seek attention, or conform to expectations. And that's exactly what makes them so dangerous to the comfortable, predictable systems that many people rely on. The Sigma male doesn't need the approval of society. He creates his own path and moves to the beat of his own drum. If you relate to these traits, don't apologize. Embrace your independence, your resilience, and your ability to carve your own path. Society may resent you, but that's because you're living a truth that they are too afraid to face. So keep being yourself, keep rejecting conformity, and keep proving that you don't need anyone's approval to succeed. You are the one shaping your destiny, and that's something worth celebrating. Keep watching, learning, and growing. The world needs more of your kind. Thank you for watching, and God bless.